5.6 more in polynomials. Our second objective here is to evaluate our polynomials. And that almost means we're going to solve our polynomials. So how are we going to go about solving this? And many of you have actually seen how to do this. We are going to add in some fun-filled word problems in this section as well. So to evaluate a polynomial, we're going to first evaluate these for different numbers. So in this first one, if we have 3x plus 5, and we want to evaluate this for when x is equal to 6. So all this means is I'm going to plug in for my variable. So when I plug in for my variable, I end up with 3, 6 plus 5. So 3 times 6 is 18 plus 5. I end up with 23 as my answer. Let's try this again. So in this case, we're going to plug in 2 for my variable, or 2 for x. 2 times 2 squared plus 7 times 2 plus 3. Notice how the square only goes to the x value. If I had more parentheses, the square would go to both. So there is a difference between 2 squared, like that, 2 times 2x squared, and 2x squared. These do not equal each other. So I end up with 2 times 4 plus 14 is equal to plus 3. It's equal to 8 plus 14 plus 3. That equals 25. Alright, let's do this one more time here. And we're going to get 3, 2, now I'm going to cube it, because I have that 2 right there, plus 2 squared plus 5 equal to 3 times 8 plus 2 times 2 squared is 4 plus 5. 3 times 8 is 24 plus 8 plus 5. So that's really going to be 24 plus 13, which is equal to 37. Alright, another example here is going to be an example of how to deal with a word problem. So let's read through this. If a rock is thrown upward at a speed of 80 feet per second, the height it reaches in t seconds is 80t minus 16t squared. Can we find the height after 1 second, 2 seconds, and then 4 seconds? So all that means to do is plug in 1, in this first case, for our t. So let's plug in 1, and we have 80 times 1 minus 16 times 1 squared, which is really 80 minus 16, which is equal to 64 feet. So that's after 1 second. Let's see what happens after 2 seconds. So we end up with 160 minus 64, which is equal to 96 feet. So remember, the ball's going up in the air, so it's going up. And 80 times 4 minus 16 times 4 squared, which is equal to 320 minus, so that would be 16 times 16, which is 256, is equal to 64 again. That's a 4. So I want you to think about this. How is the ball, it goes, after 1 second it goes 90 feet in the air, 64 feet in the air, after 2 seconds it's 96 feet in the air, but after 4 seconds it's back to 64 feet. How, if you're throwing a ball up in the air, does it make its way back to 64 feet? I want you to write that in your notebooks of how this might happen, that it goes somehow at 1 second it's at 64 feet and at 4 seconds it's at 64 feet. Alright, so here are a few problems for you to try. Notice in this second one I have 2 variables for you to plug in, and we also have a firework word problem.